Offtap Brewing. Just wanted to shoot a video on temperature control units. These things. Some of you call them STCs, I call them temperature control units because that's what it is. Digital temperature controller. Okay, we'll put these in our fridges, or we'll want to put these in our fridges. As we do, I'd just like to give you some information on doing so. Now, if you guys saw my video on is your fridge running, please, it's only a couple of videos back, watch that one and it'll explain a lot about fridges and how they actually work. Running these on there. Now, with these, we can set to 0.1 of a degree. Well, the ones I buy, I can set to 0.1 of a degree in like variance. So I can have it at 19 degrees, have it turn on at 19.1, and have it turn off at 18.9. Or I can have a very controlled chilling system on my fridges. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. There's a simple reason. Your fridge isn't designed to run that way. Your fridge isn't designed to cycle so often, so quickly. They will overheat and you will shorten the life of your compressor and of everything. Fridges are supposed to cycle, and if you understand a fridge, the chiller plate in the fridge, all fridges have chiller plates, as I explained in the previous video. Some are seen, some aren't, but they are all there. Some will go to, if they're run from a freezer and pulled down from a freezer, your freezer might go to about negative 30 degrees, negative 20 degrees or whatever, and that's how and then it goes up to 2 degrees or something like that, right? But if it's a chiller plate in the fridge and your thermostat's running off that chiller plate in the fridge, then it probably goes down to about negative 18 degrees and then goes up to 18 degrees. And so it's running, gets down to the negatives, gets right into the negatives, even though it's a fridge, and turns off. After all that time for all the oil and gas to cool down and to have a break, have a bit of a pump rest, and then as it gets hot again to 20 degrees or whatever, 18, 20 degrees, then it turns on. When you turn your thermostat up, make a colder fridge, it just cycles to, from 20 to 15 to 10, and it just runs a bit more. But it's only going to cycle in its engineered limitations. Putting these on them can cause a few problems. So we can wear our pumps out, we can overheat it, we can do things like that. But we can also, which is more detrimental because I get my fridges pretty cheap, I get them second hand, pick them up for free, whatever. But what's more detrimental is not having a very chilled environment for your work, i.e. having your chiller plates frost up and ice being an insulator. Eskimos live in igloos which are made from ice and they're warm inside. They do, ice works as an insulator. So if your plate ices up and you can see that because you've got an exposed plate, then good. All you need to do is change the cycle of these. Run a fan in them. Definitely run a fan in the fridges. That helps to break up the hot pockets in the fridges and to keep things a lot more consistent. But if you're running your temperature control unit too close, you will run into problems with things icing up and becoming, this won't read a proper temperature because the ice is insulating the plate, so your fridge is just running for all day, hours and hours and hours, days and days and days, and this is telling you your fridge is running hot. But, all the cold is being trapped in by the ice on your chiller plate. Now that's well and good if you can see your chiller plate. If you can't see your chiller plate, this is happening behind a piece of plastic. It's still happening. So guys, when you hook these up, my suggestion is to run tests on them and run a week-long set of tests, opening your fridges, having a look. Is it still running consistently? Are you is it cycling too often, too much? Is it running too long? Probably 2/3 of a day is probably the maximum you want your fridge to cycle for. Your electricity bill will hurt if it cycles more than that, but it'll wear out. If your fridge starts frosting up, you can set these with a 9-minute compressor delay. I feel that 9 minutes isn't really long enough. You know, so I generally set those to like 1 or 2 minutes. But I put a bigger range in there. So if I want to ferment at 18 degrees, man, my fridge probably gets to 20 and it probably gets to 16. But that wort is sitting around 18 degrees in that short cycle. And my chiller plates aren't frosting up. Some fridges run differently. Some fridges I've got to have a bigger window. Some fridges I've got to have a small. I can have a smaller window. So I've got fridges that I use for lagering, fridges that I use for ales, like ones I run for lagering. I can run more. They'll run a lot more closer to the temperature that I actually want all the time. And some don't, so I use them for just running ales and run a big cycle. One of the tests that you can do, which I do to every new fridge that I get, guys, is I put a jug of water in there, and I've got a temperature probe that I have for my snake tank for fangs that I got when he was a pup, and that tells me. It tells me what the minimum temperature of the day was and what the maximum temperature of the day was. So it gives me those. So I check every 12 hours. You know, I'll come up before I go to work, I'll check, and then I'll reset it. And then during the heat of the day, I'll come home in the afternoon after the heat of the day, and then I'll check it again, and then I'll reset it, and just see over a week how that fridge is working. And if it's running consistently over that week, well, I know my settings are right. If you don't have one of those sorts of things, you can you know, put a thermometer in there and just go and check all the time, just every 6 hours or whatever, or 8 hours or whatever, and just make sure that the temperature is not, you know, going too hard, you know, not getting hotter and hotter and hotter, that sort of stuff, because your plate's chilling over. That's probably about it. That's probably the main thing to look out for when you're setting up your temperature control units is plate chilling, and your fridge is not running economically. You know, obviously, if it's cycling all the time, if you've got it running all the time, like on and off, on and off, on and off, obviously everything's getting hot. The oil's staying hot, the gas is staying hot. It's not getting a chance to cool down. That then makes your fridge run more inefficiently, and also really hits you in the pocket for your electricity bill. What else? Okay, these things here, they have fail safes in them. I recommend definitely setting the fail safe. You know, I can't tell you how to set the unit up to run because every fridge is different. But your fail safes, definitely, if you're using it as a fermentation fridge with a crash chill on it, you set your fail safe at the minimum temperature that you're going to want to crash chill at. So you want your fridge to come down. So you don't want it to like fail safe at -10 degrees, because then you'll freeze it if something goes wrong in the unit. I have had them die on me, but I've never had them like crash. But I do still set all my fail safes up. So the fail safe I set up at maximum temperature is like a 24 degree fail safe. So at 23, 24 degrees, no matter what happens in this, it will turn on. If I'm using it, the fridge, to crash chill as well, then I set the fail safe at 2 degrees. Minimum of 2 degrees. At 2 degrees, that fridge is going to turn off. I'm not going to freeze. I'm not going to freeze anything. So that way I can, now no matter if I've got this set up as, say, a 4 degree window, so say 2 degrees either side of my temperature, which you can set up in here. So say I set it at 20, it'll get 22, turn on, it'll get to 18, turn off. Now you can set a 6 degree window, you can set whatever sort of window you want. But I can set that at 2 degrees. If my failsafe is set at 2 degrees, I can set that at 2 degrees, it'll only go to 2 degrees and it'll turn off. I can set it at 24 degrees, if my failsafe is 24 degrees, it'll only go to 24 degrees and turn on. I can't set it at 25 because my failsafe is set at 24, it won't allow me. I have to increase my failsafe. But it's good to have them on there. Definitely set them up. Compressor delay time is up to you. But yeah, as I said, guys, just watch how your fridge is running when you set these up. You can run them inefficiently using these. I don't know if I mentioned in this one, I did mention the video before this one, so I gave a lot of information in that one, but I used to run a 5 litre jug of water in my fridge, and I would use that snake probe in that jug as well. After I run the first set of tests, I would run the probe in a jug of water and see how the water behaved. And if my fridge was cycling like this, minimum, maximum, the jug of water only moved this much, because it's a larger body of thing to cool down and that. So remember, you can get away with a lot more because you've got 23 litres of wort, and yes guys, I do know it creates its own heat, but you know, you can put a temperature probe in your wort and see what it's running at while your fridge is running, and you can adjust your temperature control unit to suit. It's not hard to suit. Yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll chuck these videos up. As I said, if you haven't seen my Is Your Fridge Running video, I recommend watching that. It'll explain a bit more about fridges. Just wanted to explain get some information about temperature control units out there, guys, because I didn't know till I had dramas, and then I sorted them out, you know, and now I can sort them out very quickly. So yeah, happy New Year, guys, and remember, beer makes you smarter.